Hello, everyone. We are here now with another episode of Between Two Teachers. And I'm Consuelo Lara.
I'm Madeline Kronenberg.
And I'm on the school board. Madeline used to be on the school board. And we have a interesting thing going on where, this February, this next board meeting, we're going to have a resolution there to vote on calling for a moratorium on charter expansion. And that's being widely publicized. I'm sure you could find it out there. And so we're hoping community comes and expresses their opinions about that.
It's a follow-up to the decision that the school board in Los Angeles made last week to vote for a moratorium on charter expansion in LA and to ask for it to be for the entire state. So this moratorium, and I will make sure that the language is put below here on this page, so you can read it and you can see how extensive the conversation is around the problems that charter schools have put education in California, and particularly. I think it's important to know how much money we lose. And they were losing $600 million a year in Los Angeles. They're losing over $50 million a year in Oakland. Those are both places that teachers are having to sacrifice and go out on strike in order to preserve what little they have left. So it's an incredibly important issue, and I do hope that everyone comes out to support this measure and to bring it to other school districts throughout the state.
Exactly. So it's a movement. It's definitely a movement, and we need the discussion, we need the debate, and we need your presence to please be there as well. So in the middle of all this fight, the last board meeting, I was surprised to see on the agenda Go Public. And I thought, well, my understanding of Go Public is from Oakland, where they are actively they're a PAC, Political Action Committee, and they launder money basically to support charter-friendly elected officials and to get all on the school board. So I was, a little bit confused about why were they presenting to the board, and so I didn't know they were going to be on there, and I didn't understand why. So I thought. Usually, I was told, it's 5 minutes that they get. And so, I was not happy about that, about them having this platform when I know their motive. I know what they are really trying to do, and I know how they're financed, and I know how they manipulate public opinion in our communities, and I'm not happy with that. So, I listened for a little while, and I said, I've heard all this before. It's demonizing, our district in order to say, see, this is why we need charters. I mean, it's always the same. There's no mystery here. So after a while, I just got up to go to the bathroom. And for doing that, this is what I got. I received this yesterday as an email, and it was sent to all the board members, to all the trustees. And it says, on Wednesday, January 23rd, we West Contra Costa parents, and I take issue with that. They always claim that they're a parent group, GO, and now a new one, FLAG, Family Leaders Action Group. They're fake organizations. And we attended the board meeting to voice our concerns regarding the district's roadmap. As members of GO, West Contra Costa's Family Leaders Action Group, many of us shared our thoughts and demands at previous board meetings. In the past, we were received by board members and district staff with respect, even if our views differed. Last Wednesday, board member Lara, that's me, walked off the dais at precisely the time we needed everyone to listen. Her actions that night left us feeling frustrated, angry, and above all, deceived. Now that word really confused me. Deceived. When you deceive somebody, it's because you lied to them or you promised something and then you didn't come through with it. I don't remember ever promising GO anything. And I seriously doubt that they even voted for me, considering that I was very vocal how I felt about charters. Board member Lara used her position of power as a weapon and turned her back on the very families and students of color she claims to represent. I don't have to claim anything. I've been teaching in this community for 2 decades. I walk the walk. I have been helping this community and being involved in the community. And now I'm part of this community because there's generations of kids out there, I'm that old, who are now adults and have their own kids in the community. So I don't claim anything. I don't have to. We see now that it's not enough to share the same background. Oh my goodness. So was this person deceived because I'm a Latina and they assume that because I'm a Latina, I'm supposed to think all Latinos think the same? So is that where the deception is? I find that really interesting. And we share the same background. The difference in our core values is clear. That I have to agree with 100%, because my core values have to do with public education and against privatizing our public schools. So we're going to, pick this apart, word by word, paragraph by paragraph. Any response to this?
Let me just underscore the one thing that struck me. Go Public Schools is the perfect example of an AstroTurf organization. Now that little term is a term that the teacher and us can share. AstroTurf is an organization that comes in that is the opposite of a grassroots organization. The parents who come to speak on behalf of Go have been organized by people by funders, by millionaire, billionaire funders who put this organization together with the purpose of growing the charter industry in California. They want to grow the charter industry because there are benefits, financial benefits to investors, to real estate investors, to people who want to be able to control how money is paid out, who the vendors are to each of the schools that are within the charter industry. There's no question about that. I will add many links below this video for you to see who Go is, and that this is not an organization without this kind of baggage. There are organizations, there are parent organizations. The PTA is a parent organization. There are PTOs out there that are in fact grassroots. This is not one of them. It has a paid staff. It has a different set of political goals, and that certainly doesn't get called out. It gets hidden in what is in the way they market themselves, and that is a really important part of this. So now an action group, a self-created action group, is calling on Trustee Lara and basically condemning her behavior. When what Trustee Lara did was say that this group was there, they way overstayed the 5 minutes that they were given, and they were, in fact, as they say, making demands upon the district. So I'll let you go on with the next section.
Okay, so it says, as parents, and okay, they have parents in there, but basically they're funders and
they're recruited parents.
Recruited, and they are basically funders, privatizers, and funders of campaigns. We are doing our part, which I thought was interesting. We volunteer, we engage teachers, principals, and district leaders, and we advocate on behalf of all young people in our schools. And they do that by demonizing the district, demonizing our schools, our teachers, even of our children, by saying that this is a failing district. That's basically what they're doing. You never hear them say the word improve, because they don't want our schools to be better, because our parents would then choose not to go to their charters. So they don't want to improve them. They want to just get in there and do a gotcha. See how failing they are. Okay, so that Wednesday night we showed up our own speeches, ready to share our deep concern about a difficult topic. And while we know these conversations are not easy, they are necessary. very good. Any comments there?
The concern that they're sharing is their own analysis of Superintendent Duffy's roadmap and the additions that they wanted to make to it. These are concerns, and those concerns are certainly valid, and opportunities are available for any member of the public to give input. But what's happened here is they have elevated themselves to a level of being equal to the district and to the people who were elected to serve our community and who hired Superintendent Duffy to in fact hire people to put the plan together. And they've elevated themselves to a point where they are now making demands that are expensive demands that they're not saying how the district should even pay for, demands that make it so that if those demands are not met, then you have created a set of artificial demands, and then you're going to be able to say, and only we can decide whether or not you met our artificial demands, and if you haven't, then you are failing yet once again.
Okay, so then it also goes on to say that board member Lara's behavior that night was in stark contrast to everyone else on the school board. Her actions disrespected the office. Let's talk about that a minute. And the oath she took to serve all our families and young people. And in this open letter, we demand a public apology from a board member, Lara, for abandoning the dais when we addressed the school board. Now, there was a few meetings back where a board member abandoned the dais when there was a vote to be taken. And there was no letter, well, to my knowledge, that was sent to that trustee. So that proves to me that this is politically motivated. I got up to go to the bathroom, and he got up to change a vote. I mean, to me, I would think that's a lot more serious. So it just makes, talk about stark contrast. Okay. We also asked the Board of Trustees to consider revising the norms around how they value community and how their actions reflect those. So I suppose it's an unwritten norm. You may get up and go to the bathroom and get water or get cookie, and we need to change that. So that I'm a little confused about. And I don't feel like I need to apologize to anybody. And that will not be happening. So thank you very much. That's how I feel about it.
I think that's a really complete response to a letter that I think comes with the motivation to control. Well, board member Lara is the victim of an organization that wants to control her behavior. She was elected. She has served for a very short time, but she has served well, and she's served with a moral authority that she has because she was elected, and she spoke through her entire campaign about who she is and who her core values were. This letter is trying to manipulate those core values and show that there is more power in this organization than, and literally weaponizing our parents and our community against board member Lara. Totally despicable.
And the last thing I want to say is that immediately upon receiving this and reading it, I realized I was being bullied. That's what was happening here. I was being bullied by a very big organization here. And I had a lot of options. I could just ignore it. I could just, respond individually. But I decided that as a person that I'm a role model. As a teacher, that's, people want to see, how do you deal with conflict? How do you deal with intimidation or being threatened? Well, you need to expose it. And you tell the person bullying you and threatening you, this is not appropriate. I will not accept this behavior. And it is going to end. That's what you do. You stand up for yourself, you speak your truth, and you make it clear that you will not allow anyone to bully you or intimidate you or threaten you, ever. And that's what I want to leave this with. Thank you very much.
That's it for this week. We had some other things planned. I think we'll add that to next week. Thank you for your attention. We'll include all the letter itself and the links to the history of Go in the description of this episode. Thank you.
Thank you.